Hello again, TLV collectors. It's been a while since I've discussed this brand, and today I have the Mazda Luce Legato driving school car. I bought it locally and I thought it was a police car when I just looked at the photograph. Or at minimum, it looks like a taxi. And then later on, I realized it's a driving school car. Not that I really care. It's still a funky looking vehicle. So I'm going to need some help because I don't know, I can't find any pictures of the front end of this vehicle. You'll see as I compare the photographs. But let's talk about this thing here. It came in this blister, you know, like this, and then you can put this back and you can save this box because it's not very large. The Mazda Luce was the largest car made by Mazda during its time, and so this time was between 1966 to 1991. And in 1973, they started to export them, and it was called the 929. Okay, so this is the third generation Luce that is called the LA4 series, and this third generation began in 1977 and ran until 1981. Now, when I looked up images of 77, 78, and 79, none of them had just two headlights like this model. They all have four headlights like this photograph. So I don't know what this model is. And then when you go search for 1980, it's almost like a different car entirely. So I don't know what it says on the bottom. So that's the problem with... It's nice that it tells me it's a Mazda Luce, but it would be nice if it told me the exact year. So maybe I could narrow it down. So that's a challenge to anyone that's really motivated. What the heck is this thing? Because it only has two headlights instead of four. Okay, so ignoring the headlights, you can look at the body. It's a very rectangular kind of body. I'll have to move it around because it's a white car. It's kind of hard to see the lines. It's got these hubcaps which seems to match or come close. Couldn't find a side photograph though with the same wheels. Alright, so being the largest car by Mazda at the time, it would also have Wankel engine options, which isn't common. So Wikipedia is saying here it could have a 1.2 to a 1.3 Wankel, 12A or 13B. I don't know what that means, if they're both twin rotors or... I think the 13B is a two rotor. I don't know what a 12A Wankel is though. And then they had regular inline cylinders, 2.2 diesel or 1.8 or 2 liter petrols, inline fours, which doesn't seem like much of an engine for the largest Mazda of its day, right? So maybe Mazdas just weren't big vehicles, even though for them it was big, but compared to maybe a Nissan or Toyota, I guess they might have been smaller than a Crown or something. Not sure. So as a front engine, rear wheel drive, and that's what Wikipedia is telling us. So I'm looking at the photographs. These wheels are exceptionally inferior to the wheels, to the hubcaps I see in the photos. First of all, this circle is too small. It should be bigger. And second, I have a feeling that there might be some ribbing here on the hubcap, but it's totally smooth here. So this is a very lame wheel. The only plus side is there's no exposed axle like a Hot Wheels. But this one has the suspension if you're into that stuff. And I do like that the tires are rounded. They look like classic tires that have air ballooning out. And I also like that the tread blocks are not like a monster truck. They're very small, so that's what they should look like on road tires. So now we have this front reflector thing here with the light in it. That's a little bit of a molded feature, and then it's printed okay. And then the striping is printed very nice with the driving school name on it. Unfortunately, being a white color, it's having a hard time covering up the casting lines. So that's too bad. The gas cap thing though looks good. A little raised silver lock mechanism, and also silver on the door handles, and below the door handles is a recess for the fingers. There's a raised rib here, painted black for the window molding, and then I think the rest of the molding is also painted black on the plastic itself. On the casting though, there's a silver rain gutter, or chrome trim, and then also this chrome trim, which would have been nice to have a printing there. There seems to be some sort of text or event there on the photographs. But this text is coming up now. Luce. Yeah. I think they were supposed to call it the Luce Legato, but for some reason the Japanese government said you can't use that name, so they just stuck with Luce. Or maybe it's Lucy. I don't know how the Japanese pronounce it. Okay, I'm gonna go to the back this time. Pretty small exhaust tips, so I can understand it not being hollow. Nice printing, 2000, 2 liter there. So it's a inline 4 2 liter, I guess, on this guy. And what's this text back here? Come on, focus. Captain Scarlet? Cartoon succulent? What is that word? Can anyone guess what that is? Gaboon speed? Anyways, oh, special. Maybe that's special. Custom special, if I had to guess. Please leave a note if you know for real. Okay, so obviously that's not the best printing, but the Mazda's nicely printed, and just a blank license plate is typical from most TLVs. Not all, some of them do have plates on them, but not this one. Raised hand grab painted silver, and then also a raised dot here for the lock. Looks good. Raised bumps in the separate plastic bumper that's chromed. It's very nice. And then we have taillights. Oh, what the hey? These are not clear. Usually TLV has clear taillights. So this is weird. You know, it's a separate chrome piece of plastic and they painted it with translucent red, orange, and white. I think that's weak. Why would you go through the trouble of making a separate taillight and not making it clear plastic? This is how it was done 20 years ago in diecast, but nowadays, no. So TLV, they don't seem to want to improve as a company. This thing was cast, originally in 2009. So yeah, back in 2009, that was good, apparently. But it's been a while, guys. It's been like 3 Olympics now. And that's not cool anymore. Alright, well, the silver around the window glass back here. And yeah, again, the white paint is tough. But that's a problem with all companies. White paint, just white, yellow, red often, pink. They don't want to cover up casting because they're light colors. So it's not just TLV's problem, it's everyone's problem. I just got this because it was at my local store. It's a recent release, and it's such a weird looking vehicle. It's almost ugly, or maybe it is ugly, and that's why I like it. It does look like an American sedan of sorts. Almost, what is that? The AMC Matador. I gotta go get that and bring it out for comparison. Alright, blank license plate, printed on turn signals there. The bumps for the rivets are good. The grille is okay. It's just a separate black plastic piece with ribbing. The Mazda seems to be okay there. And then yeah, I like the headlights and all, but they don't match any photographs I pulled up, as I mentioned. So this is a clear piece of plastic, which is nice, and this, you know, some sort of depth to it. There's something going on way back in there, so that looks good. And then this thing is inside of a recess, and that recess has a silver or chrome paint ridge, a square ridge. It's not silver, it's actually chrome. So, excuse me, I think it's possibly, no, that is paint, I think. It's just, it's very rare to see chrome paint on a model. You usually see chrome paint on the plastic pieces like this. The grill is a piece of chrome plastic. So that's new. I don't think I've seen that before. I just now realized there's some vent holes here, but there's nothing. They're body colored on the real car, according to that front photo, so that's fine. The wiper blades are raised, painted silver. Nice ribbing here. And then, yeah, you got this number 52 on all 3 sides. Yeah, that's going on there. Unfortunately, TLVs are press fit together, so customizing is going to require some drilling, so that's too bad. Separate muffler, looks like a separate painted plastic piece. And then, yeah, no real treads here, which doesn't really bother me, because I don't display my cars upside down. Now the interior, we seem to have some speakers there on the rear shelf. There's the rear seat backs. Unfortunately, it looks like it might be a dark brown. Let me get a flashlight here. 15 lumens. Set it down. Zoom in. No, could move it out. Zoom in again. I'm at 4 times magnification. And we got some nice texture to the seats and some ribbing. It looks like an automatic transmission stock there. Although, what's that round one up there? That's different. It seems like in a really odd location. that hot dog sticking up there. And I think that's, no, I thought I saw an e-brake, but I didn't. Center console there. And then steering wheel looks pretty nice. Open spokes on the steering wheel. And then you see some molded like gauges. So that's good. Yeah, no graphics, but nice to see at least the recesses for the gauges. It looks like an old school instrument display. And there's also some vents or something there on the passenger side, and the glove box as well, and radio down there I think below. So pretty nice molded details. I only wish it was like a different color so you could see it without a flashlight. But I guess if it's a driving school car, it's probably the most economical Legato a driving school would buy. They wouldn't buy a luxury one because they're gonna have a bunch of amateurs crashing this car somewhere. Let us compare it to some other models. I'm gonna have to pause and go get that Matador. Alright, let's compare it to those American cars. Here is the Matador by Greenlight. On the bottom it says 1978 Matador, so this was the same time frame. And you can see it's just bigger, but this has a snout sticking out, that has a small snout sticking out, one headlight. Just it's a little, I can see some similarity going on there, just in a smaller scale. And then here's a, what is this, an Auto World Lincoln Mark V from 1978. And so again, it's got like a bit of a snout in the middle, that is. So yeah, Mazda's largest car of its day compared to American cars. Yeah, that makes sense. If you've ever been to Tokyo, you don't want to have a car this big or a van this big. You have to prove where you can park a car before you can even buy a car in that country. Alright, let's look at a couple Mazdas now. So, a long time ago I bought this locally. This is a Luce, a previous one, I guess. I know it says the first generation, 66 to 73. But unfortunately, I later realized the bumper is gone here. It's here, but it's broken off here. And that's why it was so cheap. But I still like it. It's a funky looking coupe. So that's TLV also, if I didn't say that. But you see, clear taillights. What's going on? Right? And when was this made? This is from previous. This is a 2005 copyright. It has clear taillights, which is what you expect from a TLV. So what? I don't understand what went on here. You know, it came out later, and they decided to make it worse. This company. I'm always ragging on them, but I think I have a right to because they're making really weird decisions. Here's a Konami of a Mazda Cosmo AP. AP means anti-pollution, between 75 to 81. And that's kind of an ugly car also. Mazda's got some ugly cars back in the day. Actually, the older ones aren't so bad. Here's another one by Konami. It's a Mazda Familia Rotary Coupe. It's from 1968 to 73, so it's a lot smaller. So chronologically, in that order, I believe. But I have this Aoshima Grachan car, a 1975 Cosmo. And so that thing's all customized. And I repainted the interior, I think. And added some BNDS plastic wheels on there. So even though, I think a headlight fell out of that thing. Oh boy. So I don't know. I keep pulling my models out. No, never mind. No, it is missing. That's weak. That headlight is gone. I gotta see if I can find like an LED or something that small and glue it in there. Alright, hey, it's a custom on. That's going to the intake system now. Alright. So that's what we have there for a bunch of different Mazdas from different diecast brands. And let's let this guy spin on its own. Some student is taking it out on the freeway, terrified. Did you guys ever go to a driving school before you got your license? I did. I was a little nervous that I might have failed the test. I didn't fail. I was a little too cautious, the guy told me. You know. Yeah, but I'm not a cautious driver now. Alright, anyways. Yeah, thanks for watching the TLV show today. I can't really recommend this one. You know, for the price, I expect to have clear taillights at least. And I do feel, if you look at the wheels again, look at that picture of the hubcap. It's just different. And this, on the model, it's just not quite the same. And it's so easy to make a hubcap in a CAD program, so it's not the greatest representation. Never mind the fact that there are no mirrors on this thing either, and mirrors at this price point are pretty much available on every other brand. Power 64 costs less, Ano 64s cost around the same or less. Tarmac Works Hobby, same thing. I mean, almost every brand has mirrors on their models now. So, again, TLV. Yeah, this brand should go out of business, in my opinion. The only reason why I continue to buy them is they have these weird cars that no one else is going to do. But anything another brand's going to do, I don't know why anyone would buy your stuff over an Inno. So, there I go ragging again, sorry. But, that's just how I see it. Thanks for watching today. I'll see you in the next TLV video. Bye now.